End the Stigma: How a College Support System Can Help. Have you ever seen someone who appears to be sick a lot? Thought to yourself, they must have a chronic illness? Our society doesn't think about the underlying psychiatric disabilities that an average of 1 in 3 college students struggle with. It's extremely important to provide those students with psychiatric disabilities individual accommodations and allowances so they can not only complete their courses and activities, but excel in them. Schools should help join the fight against the stigma and promote awareness. While there has been much focus on getting people with focus accommodations they need and deserve, there are many college-age students who struggle with some sort of psychiatric disability that have been falling to the wayside and not getting the same treatment they need to be successful. Not all illnesses are visible, and many suffer in silence. Many students deal with mental illness, and their psychiatric disabilities can prevent them from completing their education. I want to speak about the reality that these students face and why it's important that schools gain awareness of these issues and provide students with the necessary tools and accommodations to help them succeed and thrive. I will use the Monroe motivated sequence to explain how students have asked schools to provide those with psychiatric disabilities the necessary support and accommodations to complete their educational goals and thrive. The first step is gaining the attention of the administration. Students with psychiatric disabilities most often need individual accommodations and allowances to complete and succeed in the courses and activities. It's the school's job to help every student succeed and provide equal opportunities and access for all. Mental illness is very prevalent among college students and more common than you might think. According to the American Psychological Association, on average, 1 in 3 college freshmen struggle with mental health issues. The stigma surrounding mental health is much more stigmatized than physical health, and that is why they need someone like the schools to advocate for them to bring more credibility to the topic. Mental illness causes students to struggle in school, and how it makes things harder in many ways. A lot of the symptoms students face affect tests, assignments, and classroom performance. Common things that they need to succeed include extra time, extra support, and alternative forms of evaluation. How schools can provide these accommodations, such as extra support, advance notice of assignments, and extended time to complete assignments and exams. According to the founder and coordinator of the Psychiatric Disabilities Program at the University of Toronto, students with psychiatric disabilities typically experience periods of wellness and periods of relapse while they are attending college. Their academic performance often mirrors this pattern. When discussing how to accommodate with extra support, this may include one-on-one groups and peer mentoring. Extra time can include more time on tests, quizzes, and attendance, as it's not always the easiest to get to class on time when someone is having some sort of episode on the way to class. Evaluation comes in many different forms, including exams, presentations, and group projects. When accommodations are given, they are always a balancing act, as it is up to the teacher whether or not the accommodations are reasonable for the situation. An example of this includes a student who may have an accommodation for using memory aids during an exam. But if the exam is to test memory, the student may not be able to use their accommodation. When accommodations are made for those with mental illnesses, like the ones under the judicial rulings under the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990, have generated outcomes that are sometimes more harmful than helpful. Due to the fact that psychological disabilities are nearly impossible to spot, it is much harder for people, specifically schools, to buy into them, which makes them less apt to offer crucial tools needed. The students must complete and succeed in their courses and feel satisfied with their work. Because unlike physical disabilities, which you can see, psychiatric disabilities are often invisible and more stigmatized. The World Health Organization states in its study that these issues start at the age of 14. The 2016 study conducted by the World Health Organization reported that 39% of students were struggling with at least one mental illness. The same study found an increased number of students who have considered suicide, from 8% to 11%. If 1 in 3 college students were to seek mental health services, they wouldn't be able to manage, as the numbers are higher than previously estimated. An increased number of people inquiring about mental health services, with approximately 11.9% of college students suffering from an anxiety disorder and 7 to 9% suffering from depression. Some may argue that there are people out there who will try to exploit the accommodations, but that is why there are protocols in place. There are a wide range of negative outcomes associated with psychiatric disabilities, including serious social and educational impairment. A few reasons have been proposed for the low rates of help seeking in this population, including fear of personal stigma, not perceiving treatment as urgent or essential, and lack of time. The American College Health Association has found that students report that anxiety and depression are among the biggest factors negatively affecting their academic performance. Such mental health issues can even lead to student dropout. Lack of identification or acknowledgement of mental health symptoms or lack of inadequate treatment are common problems among college students and may contribute to the persistence of mental health problems in this population. Someone may need more time because they have a broken leg, but someone with anxiety may need more time because they had to stop in the bathroom and had a panic attack. When someone has a disability, they usually have automatic accommodations, but it should be equally as easy for someone with a mental health diagnosis. A disability is a disability, and everyone should have an equal chance of being successful and feeling comfortable with the success that the accommodations have helped them to achieve.